Good morning, Unity of Fort Myers. It's good to be with you again. And I am here to invite you to join any of the chat stream. Let us know if you also need prayer. I'm Carla Palmer, licensed Unity teacher. Sam?
Good morning. I want to add my welcome to you. Thanks for joining us this morning at Unity Fort Myers. We're so glad you're here with us and that you've dropped in. I want to let you know what's going on right now. As always, there are many things that go on here at Unity Fort Myers. Christina has her Tuesday morning class is Keeping a True Lent. So very apropos for this season. It's Charles Fillmore book. Always really good wisdom in it. Reverend Crystal has started a new members class. So if you're new to Unity and you would like to have more information and connect, that is a good way to do so and get some good information in the new members class. I just want to take a moment also to once again thank everybody who came and participated in Agape and the help of maintaining and cleaning up the grounds. It was a great success. And as the seasons are changing and things are moving forward, there's a continued need for that. So the next time that Agape is going to gather, it is on March 6th. So if you check our website or the Facebook page, you can get more information if you would like to come volunteer and join that group who's going to be keeping our grounds so beautiful. And then the next thing that's coming up in March is on March 21st, and we'll be having our annual meeting. It will be a Zoom meeting, so that's the way we're going to get together and conduct the business of the church this time. So once again, all the information about the classes and about the annual meeting and the Agape would be either on our Facebook page or on the website, Unity of Fort Myers. So we hope you'll check that out and join us for the things that you feel led to come and be a part of. As you know, and as we celebrate, Unity was founded in prayer. And so prayer continues to be an important part of who we are here at Unity. And along that line, we continue to have prayer chaplains. So if you do have prayer requests and prayer needs, don't feel like you can't get the support that you need. You can do that through the website or by calling me or emailing the office and let them know you have a need. And we will put a chaplain back in touch with you to support you. We are continuing to be here to support you in all of your needs. You can also always call Silent Unity. They are continuing to be available, and they have the phone. We have the phone number will be on the page here, or you can always connect with Silent Unity when you have a need for them. So we hope you know that we're continuing to be with you and support you. And so now we're going to take a moment and have Carla do the opening prayer.
Let's just lean back wherever you are and in a comfortable position. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable to do that. And just take a breath together as we breathe in, suspend, and then slowly breathe out. And shake off, let go of whatever happened before you got here in this place that you are being able to watch our Unity of Fort Myers Sunday service. And so we turn within. We allow that beautiful presence to be felt in our heart space. So grateful and glad for this day of peace, this day of surrender to that which is above. We're very, very grateful for all of the technology that we have to stay in this wonderful connection. And so our theme today is strength consciousness. And in the consciousness of that, we rest and know that we are not of one, not alone. There is only God here, now, present in this consciousness. And it is so. Amen.
Amen.
You're my life, you're my breath, you're a smile, you're my guest. You're the earth, you're the sun, you're the grass, you are love. You're my hands, you're a bug, you're my eyes, you're a hug. You're the light in the dark, you're the spark, you are fun. You're my mom, you are water, you're the stars, you're my daughter. You're my friend till the end, you're my dreams, you're my father. You're the ants on the ground, the miracles that surround. I'm feeling it all around, the hemisphere in the clouds. You're my pain, you're my sorrow, you're my hope for tomorrow. You're the strength when I'm hollow, you're the path that I follow. You're the blessings that exist, the small things that are bliss. The gift to realize that everything
all
is a
that
gift.
I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all, for it all. Grateful for it
You're the blessings every time I try to count. You're the lessons that I learn every time I turn around. You're the water when I'm burned every time I think I found everything I'm looking for. You're the sign saying stop to take a bow and keep moving forward and start looking towards your heart. It'll open all the doors and only then you'll start to hear the world singing chorus with your mind and heart. Aligned in purpose, everything
all
will feel
that I
gorgeous.
am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all,
Every day I sit and pray cause what I have is more than I deserve or could ever imagine. How do I give back to all of this magic and spread the love so everybody can have it? Doesn't matter if I'm rich or poor, if I got a family or if I'm all alone. Bad things happen, I can just complain and moan, but there's a million things that I can be grateful for.
So I lift up my hands now, and I open my heart, and my gratitude goes out to everything near and far. All that I am,
Everything I am and everything I see, everything I hope and everything I dream, everything I feel and everything I be. I look deep down and feel all the blessings. Everything I am and everything I see, everything I hope and everything I dream, everything I feel and everything I be. I'm grateful for it all. It's amazing. Everything I am and everything I see, everything I hope and everything I dream, everything I feel and everything I be. I look deep down and feel all the blessings. Everything I am and everything I see, everything I hope and everything I dream, everything I feel and everything I be. I'm grateful for it all. It's amazing. You're the blessings that exist, the small things that are bliss, the gift to realize that everything is a gift.
Wait, one more. This is for y'all.
all that I am.
All that I've been.
It's a blessing.
It's so amazing.
I am grateful
Well, good morning again, or afternoon, or evening, or whenever you are watching this. This is from Unity of Fort Myers, and our theme for today is strength consciousness. Well, what is strength consciousness? Well, first of all, consciousness compels the outer act. it reveals your whatever the act is, it reveals what your consciousness is. It can't be any other way. And so I wanted to talk about strength consciousness and give you a little bit of a background. Strength in a very short sentence is the energy of God. And being a scientist and in one of my other lives on this earth walk, I think of when I read that, the energy of God, it makes me think of the Big Bang, poof, all of that energy, the strength, the energy of God. It is also the stability of character. It's the power to resist temptation. And, I used to think that willpower was what kept me out of the refrigerator to get ice cream at 10 o'clock at night, that kind of thing. But it's not willpower. It's the strength of the resisting the temptation. So I was using the power of strength all along and didn't realize it. Strength is that innate ability by which we're able to endure, to stay the course, to get that job done, get her done, to have stamina, to be present, persistent, persevere, stable, and consistent. So you can see that. It's like a tree. So wonderful. So the thing about strength, though, is located in the small of the back. That's the strength center. And it just made me think of that expression that, somebody will say, hey, I've got your back. I've got your back. Or if they want to give you a warning, they'll say, watch your back. And so without knowing that is the center of strength. So it's nice to know that somebody has your back. So we're going to look at different characters in the Bible and look at how they have used strength. And the first one that comes to mind is Andrew. Andrew was the first disciple of Jesus. And he had been a disciple of John the Baptist before this, and before he met Jesus. And John the Baptist was preaching and, baptizing people and all of that. And then John came to the point where he said, someone greater than I is on his way here. And lo and behold, here comes Jesus walking down the street. This is him. He's the one. And so Andrew went over and started talking to Jesus in this story. And I love this part is that Andrew's brother, Simon Peter, the disciple for the power of faith, he had not been a disciple of John the Baptist. He was just kind of like not a disciple of anybody. And so Andrew introduced Simon Peter to Jesus. And wouldn't that be a neat thing if you could have seen that? And he introduced Simon Peter to Jesus and saying, and this is the Messiah. Andrew knew about the depth of, he had a sense, he had this strength consciousness to know that Jesus was very strong in character and in his spiritual awareness. So then we hear about Andrew again in the Bible when it came time to feed the 5,000. And here was the situation. Andrew brought this little boy to Jesus and said, he just has 5 loaves of barley bread and 2 fish, and that's the only food I could find around in here. However, Andrew didn't stop with that. What are we going to do? Or anything like that. He had this strength consciousness, which was his spiritual mind, to be able to grasp hold of spiritual ideas and put them to use. And don't we sometimes do that when we say, this isn't turning out the way I wanted, some situation, but I know that there must be a divine plan here. I know that divine order is working here for me. And so that's the way that Andrew was. And so I'm going to kind of look at this from a metaphysical standpoint. And so bread represents spiritual substance. And that, as you know, is infinite in supply. And the fish represents sense-based ideas and thoughts in which there's a great possibility of growth, of increase. And so Andrew looked at this whole situation as, being able to see the big picture, as they say, symbolically understood the inexhaustible source and knew about the high possibility of Jesus disseminating an abundance of spiritual ideas to the crowd gathered there. And so being a Bible nerd, as I've been accused by my husband, I did a little metaphysical translation of this, and it came out for me. People are hungry for spiritual food, ideas that build and multiply and feed their soul so it can expand. So spiritual mind action of Andrew and all was there in that mental strength of his. And now I have another example from the Bible who's a female named Tamar. And you can read about her story in Genesis 38. And basically, Tamar was widowed twice. She, her first husband died, then she was given to his brother as a wife. And so then he died, and then there was no support for her. So she went home to live in her parents' home. And then she thought of a way to get back into this family. This family that she had been married into was the house of Judah, which later became the descendants of became the whole nation of Israel. And so they and so she was able to have her. This sounds a little weird, but but it's the Bible. It's a story in the Bible that her father-in-law fathered twin sons with her. And so what we see here is, with all of this tragedy in her life and being tossed aside and everything, and through her wit and her intelligence, the strength of her spiritual intelligence, she was able to birth 2 twin sons who then went on to populate the whole nation of Israel. So Phoenix is one of the translations for Tamar. She rose from the ashes of her life. So Tamar represents this consciousness of overcoming power of the soul in a person. And so we all have that within our souls. It's that attitude of, hey, we did it. I can't believe it. We have overcome those thoughts of doubt to get this project done. We learned that we're stronger than we thought. Now we know Now we have strength consciousness. When you have a spiritual experience, you can read it in a book till the cows come home. But when you have experienced it, and then you have that strength consciousness. And what would faith be if we didn't hold fast to it? If we didn't trust it? If we didn't believe it or apply it in our lives? It wouldn't be faith at all, would it? And so strength keeps faith alive. And so the two of them have to work together, strength and faith. Strength consciousness impacts our thoughts, our feelings, and it compels our outer actions. The more we really believe in something, the easier it is to support it. Have you ever noticed that it's harder to stand up for something when you just feel kind of lukewarm about it? And then it's nearly impossible to stand up for something when you don't care at all. So this brings us to a third person that I think we might be able to relate with really well. Not from the Bible, but she was called the Moses, and her name, Harriet Tubman. She's an icon of strength and amazing faith. She was willing to sacrifice her life to liberate and save the lives of others. She had this inner knowing and strength alive in her that she was born with, and her courage to take the risks to lead enslaved people to freedom. I got into her biography a bit, not nearly enough. I want to go back and read more. What happened to her when she was an adolescent was that a slave owner had thrown a 2-pound block. It was a 2-pound weight at her head and hit her in the head and caused brain damage that she had for the rest of her life. She had narcolepsy, she had seizures, and she had severe headaches all the rest of her life. But this also caused her to experience spiritual dreams. And so she had this spiritual consciousness, the strength of that consciousness when she saw enslavement metaphorically. She spoke about it. She said, enslavement binds us all. Even the slave owners are bound by it. And so she had that, yes, I am, yes, I can attitude. She was 10 years that she conducted the Underground Railroad. In her 20s, the first time that she realized that she lived in Maryland, the farm that she worked on, and she, it was only 90 miles to get to Pennsylvania. And so she ran away and she got to Pennsylvania, which was an abolitionist state. This is in 1850, about in that. And here's what she wrote. When I found I had crossed that line, I looked at my hands to see if it was the same person. There was such a glory over everything. The sun came like gold through the trees and over the fields, and I felt like I was in heaven. Wow. In all, she made 19 trips. There were more than 300 enslaved people that she led to freedom. And she had allies in the abolitionist community. What happened was that because there were so many slaves escaping and going across to the abolitionist states, the states that did not allow slavery, that the federal government passed a law that slave owners were able to go into those states and find those slaves and bring them back. And so this meant that the journey would be harder. Instead of the 90 miles to get to Pennsylvania, it was now hundreds of miles to get to Canada. And so she had people in those abolitionist states that helped her. And so this is where I have to share this personal story about myself. When I was a little girl, I lived in this great big house. It was a 2-story house, and my grandparents lived upstairs, and the 5 of us in our family, mom and dad and 3 children, we lived downstairs. And the rooms were really big, and it was just a wonderful place to live in. And it was on the corner of a busy road. And one day, my little brother found a whole bunch of trap doors in the back of closets, and he crawled through, and he was going into these various tunnels that were under the house, and one that led all the way out to a barn in the backyard, and all that. And so we asked our parents and our grandparents, what is this? And then they told us that the house that we lived in used to be one of the houses on the railroad that slaves used to go up to Canada. And so that story changed my life. I get a little emotional when I tell the story, because it just made me feel so proud and happy that I lived in a place. It was as if there was energy in that house of goodness. So anyway, they were able to go all the way to Canada, and in the house I lived in was one of the stops on the Underground Railroad. So back to Harriet, it wasn't enough for her to be free until all people were free. But the trust that people must have had in her, they had to have faith in her. Can you imagine saying, wait a minute, we're supposed to trust this person who can't even stay awake, who has terrible debilitating headaches, and can't even guide us, if she's like this, and all. And so how are we supposed to follow her? But they did. They followed her. And, there's an old folk song called Follow the Drinking Gourd. And it is a song about how the enslaved people, the people that were escaping, had to be working only at night. They had to be traveling only at night. And then they would sleep in those houses during the day and then leave again. And they would get their food and all and leave again and walk all night. And how they kept their bearings was to follow the drinking gourd. The drinking gourd, and many of you must know this story, is the Big Dipper in the sky. It's that constellation that we call the Big Dipper, and off from that is the North Star. And so they would travel that way, and it was follow the drinking gourd. She understood intuitively. She listened for divine guidance. She envisioned what she needed to accomplish, and then took control of herself. She demonstrated amazing consistency in her faith and actions, strength and faith working together. And so she taught us, her life, her consciousness taught us that we are all spiritual activists. We have to advocate for our own liberation and freedom. And then Jesus showed us the different levels of our strength consciousness. In Luke 11, verse 21, there's this little parable that, you know, when I first read it, I didn't understand it. I have to say that. But then the more I worked with it, the more I understood. And it goes like this. And I have kind of genderized, neutralized the gender in it, because it's always about man this and man that. Okay, so when the strong person, fully armed, guards his own or their own court, their goods are in peace. But when a stronger man comes along, that I did it again, but when a stronger person comes along, they shall come upon them and overcome them. In other words, the stronger person overcomes the strong person, who will then take from the strong person their whole armor wherein they trusted, and then they divide it all up. They divide up all of the goods and redistribute the spoils. So I'd like to unpack that a little bit for you. The strong person, fully armed, is referred to by Jesus as the strength and stability consciousness that in an individual who depends on the external helpers like armor, home security systems, locks, guard dogs, all that kind of thing. This kind of consciousness manifests as spiritual strength, added technology, you know, all of that. In some areas, people even have people that live with them that guards them. And so these folks, they feel a certain limited safety and feel a certain level of peace of mind. But the enlightened, stronger person who is spiritually strong in mind has overcome this fear of loss, like Tamar, and knows what can't be taken away, what cannot be taken away. One is your experience of your spiritual experience. The stronger person relies on the internal guidance that they have. What do? Well, one of the things is they forgive. Forgiving is an example of letting go of the past and not hanging on to that. And then this is the one I like a lot. The stronger person can ask for help. Being reluctant to show vulnerability is not strong. It takes, in the words of Brené Brown, it takes more strength and bravery to be vulnerable than to act strong. And so the stronger person has already divided up those beliefs that they possessed and have already released them, and because they no longer serve them. They've divided the spoils, those things I no longer need. It's like cleaning out your closet. Fasting from the external is especially important now during Lent. We are fasting from the external and feasting on spirit, on what's inside. So the strength consciousness that Andrew and the I Can of Tamar and Harriet Tubman, their strength came from the Lord of their being, abiding within them. Follow the drinking gourd, the North Star, taking them to freedom. What is your North Star? What do you follow? Are you the strong person or the stronger person in that parable? Well, I would venture to say you're both. But you now know, and now you can choose. I know I'm strong, but do I want to be stronger? And to be stronger, It's that spiritual. It's got to go. It's got to come from within. So in closing, as an environmental scientist and activist, I must say today, I also have an animal representing strength consciousness. And if you want to look up Isaiah 40, verse 31, you'll see this beautiful, beautiful verse, and I bet you've all heard it before. Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. So the eagle is an expression of abounding strength. The eagle knows its strength. It knows it has the strength to get up there on those thermals and soar. There's no doubt about it. It rises above the cyclone. It outflies the wind. And so as the way of the eagle in the air, so is the way of all of us when we fully realize our spiritual strength is always here. And then we put it to good use. And so it is. Amen. So if you want to sit back, relax, take a break, another break, relaxing with every breath I take. I am grateful for this gift of strength. Imagine yourself as an eagle. You're flying in this cloudless sky, deep blue, soaring above, looking down upon the earth, so close to the sun that your wings just seem to disappear into the light. And as you look at this beautiful earth, you bless it. As you see the oceans and the landforms, blessing them. Grateful for the strength that you have to see far. And so the spiritual strength, knowing that it is born in the silence of the soul. And so let us enter the silence and allow whatever message to come up for you. Allow the silence, even if there is no message, to just be. Just be now. I realize that I have this inward joy that no one can take away from me. I am sincere and steadfast about my spiritual journey and open to the inflow of the serenity, the peace of mind that comes with my faith and trust in God. I trust divine mind to guide me, that I might experience the peace and joy of knowing that I have given my best. I am strong in spirit. I am peace in the midst. I fly like an eagle. I fly so high, circling the universe on wings of pure light. I am that I am, and for this I am eternally grateful. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Carla, for that wonderful meditation. Let's end our time of meditation together as we do the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from error.
For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen.
Now we come to that time when it's our opportunity to share with our community here at Unity of Fort Myers. We depend on your support of tithes and donations to keep this place open and do all the wonderful work that we do. So I would like to encourage you to donate and send your either offering or tithes into us. You can do that a couple of ways. One way is you can text the word Give Unity Fort Myers to 44321, or you can use the donation button on our website of Unity of Fort Myers, or there's also a link from our Facebook page. So there are many opportunities for you to continue to help support us. Or if you're the good old-fashioned way like me and you still use checks, you can mail a check into us at the office here at the church. Carla, would you like to bless the offering?
I sure would. Thank you. Grateful for all that is in our lives. Grateful for these offerings, that we may do with love what is ours to do, a mighty work. And so it is. Amen.
I'd like for you to join with me now. We will still, as a community, want to have the chance to bless our children. You are loved, special, and important. We behold and bless the Christ you are. And now, as we come to the end of this time that we have together to share and celebrate, let us do our peace affirmation. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me, with us. And now, as we continue in the closing of our program, let's do the prayer for protection. The light of God surround us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us, and I am that power. The presence of God watches over us, and I am that presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in the perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment